Welcome back to The Explainer. So, have you ever been just scrolling through a YouTube short, stared at the screen, and seriously questioned if what you were watching was actually real, or if it was entirely generated by AI? I mean, we've all been there, right? It's getting incredibly hard to tell the difference these days. Well, YouTube has recognized this exact challenge, and they are rolling out a massive update to their AI labeling system that fundamentally changes the game, both for content creators and for us as viewers. Okay, let's dive into this.
Today, we're exploring a bit of a ripple effect. First up, the new AI labels. Second, how auto detection works. Third, will this hurt views? And finally, fourth, the future of AI content.
Starting off with Section 1, the new AI labels, moving front and center.
And this brilliantly illustrates the big change. In the past, AI content labels played this weird game of hide and seek. They were totally buried inside the expanded description panel, which meant it required extra clicks. To even know if a video used AI, you, as the viewer, actually had to actively open that description and hunt for the disclosure. But now, absolute transparency. For your traditional long-form content, the AI label sits right below the video player. And for shorts, it's this completely unmissable on-screen overlay right on the video itself. It's totally transparent, perfectly upfront, and guarantees that you know exactly what you're watching without any extra effort at all.
Now, you might be thinking this is strictly to catch those crazy hyper-realistic political deepfakes or cloned audio. But actually, the scope is way wider than that. Even unrealistic, animated, or just slightly changed content can absolutely trigger an automatic label. So, if a creator generates, say, a stylized anime background or subtly alters a skyline in their footage, that material falls right under this new transparency umbrella too. It really isn't just about stopping deception, it's about fully 100% identifying synthetic media across the board.
To truly anchor the why behind this major visual shift, we really have to look at the primary goal of the update, which is absolute transparency for the audience. Rene Ritchie, the YouTube creator liaison, put it perfectly when he said, "If it looks real but was made with AI, viewers will know immediately." No more guessing games. No more feeling completely tricked after watching a 5-minute clip. This whole visual shift is just designed to empower you with the correct context before you even invest your time into watching.
Moving on to Section 2, how auto detection works. The new safety net.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because YouTube's new auto detection doesn't actually replace the creator's job at all. Step 1 is still absolutely manual disclosure. YouTube basically requires creators to honestly check a box and label their own photorealistic AI content. But now they've added Step 2, auto detection. So if a creator forgets or, intentionally tries to bypass the rules and hide the fact that they used AI, YouTube's automated system is designed to catch that undisclosed photorealistic material and just apply the label automatically. Think of it as a secondary safety net catching things that slip through the cracks. However, no automated system is totally perfect, right? Which brings us to Step 3, the dispute process. If a creator feels their strictly human-made footage was somehow wrongly flagged by the AI detector, they've got a built-in appeals process to contest that wrongful label right inside their YouTube Studio dashboard.
Also, keep in mind, some labels are just baked in and completely permanent. This applies to any content created using YouTube's own native AI tools, like VO and DreamScreen. Furthermore, if a video file contains C2PA metadata, which is essentially a secure digital watermark proving the file was entirely generated by AI, that label is totally locked in. It just bypasses the detection and dispute steps entirely. No getting around it.
That brings us to Section 3. Will this hurt views? Myth versus reality.
So a lot of content creators are understandably terrified that having an AI label on their video is essentially a death sentence for their reach and their income. Let's look at the official stance on this. Rene Ritchie stated, "These labels alone do not affect how our videos are recommended or whether they can earn money. This is purely about giving viewers the right information at the right time." So the crucial point is, there is no direct algorithmic punishment, no shadow banning, and absolutely no demonetization simply for having the AI label on your properly disclosed video. The algorithm itself is totally neutral to the tag.
But, and this is where the nuance is super important, we have to factor in human psychology. While the computer algorithm won't punish the label, it will absolutely respond to how human beings react to the label. This introduces a pretty critical concept: audience behavior signals. These are the real-world metrics generated by your viewers' reactions. If a viewer sees that newly visible AI overlay on a short and just decides to scroll past, or maybe they start watching a long-form video, see the tag, lose trust, and immediately bounce, Well, those very human actions send powerful negative performance signals to YouTube.
Let's break this distinction down super clearly because it is absolutely vital to understanding the creator economy today. A direct algorithmic penalty, where YouTube artificially suppresses your video just because it has an AI tag, is not happening. However, an audience behavior shift, where viewers see the label, lose interest, and just click away, organically causing your recommendations to drop, is absolutely possible. You see the difference? The platform isn't punishing the creator with rigid rules. Rather, the audience actually holds the real power over whether that video ultimately succeeds or fails based on their own personal preference for AI content.
And finally, Section 4, the future of AI content. Why this matters now.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of the situation. Right now, 1 in 5 or 20% of shorts recommended to new users on YouTube are AI-generated. 20%! That is a massive portion of the daily content diet being fed to audiences. This statistic alone proves exactly why YouTube had to implement these highly visible labels and why they had to do it right now. The wave of synthetic media isn't some distant future concept. It is literally already here, and it is incredibly substantial.
So what actually happens next? The long-term reality is that audience behavior is going to create its own sorting effect as these labels become more visible. YouTube isn't making a moral judgment here on AI versus human-made content. They really aren't in the business of artificially separating the two. They are simply providing the accurate labels and the transparency so that you, the audience, can do the sorting yourselves. If audiences end up loving AI content, it's going to thrive. If they reject it, it will fade. The whole ecosystem will basically balance itself based on informed viewer choice.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to look directly at you and challenge you to think about your own scrolling habits. Will visible labels change what you choose to watch? The next time you open the app and see that little AI overlay sitting right on the screen, does it make you more curious to see what the technology can do, or does it make you immediately swipe away in search of a real human being? Ultimately, your choices are about to dictate the future of digital media. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious and keep your eyes peeled for those new labels.